Hey, what's going on, film fans? Welcome back to our channel. We are the usual skeptics here. We talk movie reviews, entertainment news, streaming, all that sorts of good stuff. Speaking of streaming, we have a new Netflix film by the Russo brothers, directors of Civil War, Winter Soldier, Endgame, Infinity War, back again with the Agbo production, The Gray Man with Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans, Captain America himself, America's ass. Wes, how are you doing today, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. So we talked about watching this for weeks now. I'm super excited that it came out. And I watched it today, ready to talk about it, man. Ready to see what your thoughts are on it. Let's go ahead and dig right in.
All right, man. Yeah. So, okay. So we're going to go open spoilers. I mean, it's on Netflix. Wes and I agreed to, you know what? Let's just talk about it. Let's just go ahead and talk. I mean, there's really not much to spoil. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. This is not a great movie. I will go as far as to say it's not a very well done film, but I'd be lying. And I'll go into my full thoughts here in a second, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I was pretty entertained for 2 hours. Yeah, I mean, and speaking of that, I kind of don't know if I want to talk positives first or negatives first. You know what? Let's talk negatives. Let's talk negatives first. Just get out of the way. Um, for me, the biggest thing is, this movie has a an assassin. Ryan Gosling. The CIA hires him uh, to join their ranks and to take out other folks, and then you figure out that he was hired to actually take out other members of that same elite unit. This was it Sierra series or
Yes,
whatever they
Sierra.
were called, Sierra. So I mean, the premise itself was kind of cool, and having Chris Evans as the bad guy, kind of being another one of those Sierra type covert
That
operatives,
threw
and
me off, though.
that
You know what I mean?
it was kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun seeing
Yeah.
Chris Evans play a bad, just like he did in God, about said Knocked Up, Knives Out, totally different movie, with Ana de Armas in as well. Speaking of her, I mean, I kind of look. She is beautiful, just as she is talented. She's a tremendous talent, and seeing her in here, not a lot for her to do. I mean, it's fair to say not a lot for anyone to do in this movie. Really, it was just an action set piece, for 2 hours. Again, very entertaining. But going into the deep parts of this movie, there's not really much to go on. But the premise in itself, I put this on my Twitter, is that this film had a great premise, had great sequences all throughout the film. I mean, the opening, not the opening sequence, but the first action sequence in was it Bangkok or
Hmm.
wherever that was. I thought that was really cool. One of the things I did not like though is it's not that the Russos cut away too much during the whoever edited this movie, how in fight scenes it kind of got a Paul Greengrass vibe when you're watching Matt Damon's or those movies he was in, the Born Identity
Yeah, the
franchise.
boy. Yeah,
Dude, I hated
born.
those movies were really good, at least some of them were. But one thing, and I think a lot of people could agree, the action sequences, the rapid editing was just too much. There was a couple moments in this film that I felt that, but it wasn't as bad. So, kudos to the choreography and all that kind of stuff. The one part about the choreography that I did not like is when, well, it's less choreography and more camera work, is how the freaking drone, it would cut to a scene, right? And then be an establishing shot, and it would just have that swooping motion. Dude, I got tired of that before halfway through the film, and they kept doing it over and over and over again. Wes, I want to hear your thoughts, man. You obviously got something to add to
Okay.
that.
So I was thoroughly enjoyed for the 2 hours that I watched it. Like, let's get that out of the way. I thought that the action scenes were great. The premise, like you said, was very, very good. Not a lot for that actress to do. I do agree with that. But one of the things that got on my nerves probably the most, and I get it, like drones are the new thing, but like it did get on my nerves that like every time they would cut to a new city or something like that, you'd have and it's a racing drone. That's what it is. That's why it
Oh
goes
yeah.
so fast and
Oh
and
yeah.
goes through and all that.
Yeah.
You know, I really like. I was just like, oh my God, I'm so tired of these drone shots. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it just.
Right.
I mean, it's cool for like one or two cutscenes, you know what I'm saying? Like it would be cool if they just leveled it down to like one or two,
Mhm.
but it was like
Every
constant.
time.
It was
It was on
constant.
anytime they were switching scenes to a
Yeah,
new
that's what I'm
location,
saying. Yeah,
every
to a new
single
location.
time. I mean, I'd be tempted to go back and just watch and count how many times they did
Correct.
it because it was a
Now,
lot. It was a
where
lot.
they did it right was like, whenever it's towards like where they're in the hospital and the guy gets on the motorcycle
Yeah.
and it's following them through the through all the crowd and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's
That's
fine.
where it was that's
That's
where it's
fine.
appropriate for
Right.
me. I'm like,
Right.
okay, cool. Like they're going in and out through that. But every time you cut to a new city or
Yeah.
whatever, I'm just like these drone scenes. But like negative wise, I mean, that's one of the biggest ones that I had. Everything else is just like nitpicky. You know what I mean?
Well, to
Um,
me, nitpicky would be that right there. Complaining
yeah.
about the choreography, or I mean, I'm sorry, the transition, swooping thing. That, like, to me, that's not gonna make it a good movie. I'm just saying that's something that annoyed me. How does it impact the movie overall? To me, that would be a nitpick. That would classify, just for me personally. I'm not saying you're wrong for thinking that. I'm just saying for me personally
No, you're saying I'm
that
wrong. It's fine. Whatever.
that's right. It's fine. You're wrong. But I will say one thing that definitely impacted the movie for me was certainly the script. Most of the issues with this movie was the script, and I'll go ahead and talk about some dialogue. I'm not gonna lie, I chuckled a couple times
Oh, I did
where
too.
I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, there was a few moments where it was supposed to be for comedic purposes. There were a couple where I was like, okay, I laughed, like audibly, me and my wife laughed, but I just after laughing, I'm like, okay, I don't know if I was supposed to laugh at that. Like it was one of
Right.
those
Yeah.
moments where it's like, was
Yeah.
I supposed to laugh? Like, I don't know, because it was really cringy, but it didn't work. Like there was so much of a tonal one particular example. Again, spoilers in case you haven't seen it. I know we're several minutes in, but in case you haven't seen it.
It's too late for that, bro. Go
But
ahead.
like I said, I mean, there's not really much to spoil in this movie anyway, so it's whatever. But one particular moment that stands out to me, and it probably happened more than once, but this one in particular is when, oh gosh, I can't remember exactly now. Oh, I had it. Anyway, it was such an emotional transition, right? It was such an emotional. No, it was before that. It was a comedic moment, and then it cut directly to that, and it was like, really, like what? Or was it vice versa? I can't remember, but it did stand out very much. And look, I'm not going to be thinking about this movie a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. This isn't one that I'm going to be watching again. I'm not going to lie. But, if it happened to be on TV or something, if I'm scrolling through Netflix, want to pop something on and watch some cool fight scenes. I mean, I'd personally rather watch John Wick, and that's what I kind of felt like that they were trying to replicate. I did also say that was
I thought the same
had a
thing.
lot of John Wick and kind of a like a Bond feel. Like there were some
Hmm.
Bond elements where it was like, oh, we're paying homage to a John Wick or James Bond, and it was like, were you though? you know, and it's it but for me, the script is by far the one of the biggest issues with this movie. The editing was all over the place. I mean, talking about the
Yeah.
transitions, that's one thing. That's nitpicky. But when you're editing and you have a random, and you can use editing to tell your story in a, cohesive, and an immersive experience for the audience. But in this movie, dude, it got annoying. My brain got like confused like a lot because I'm like, why are we doing a reverse upside angle side shot of a car for no reason at all? It's like, what? It's kind of weird.
Right.
So I don't know. There were just some moments like that. Going into some positives here, and I'd like to hear your full thoughts as well, just real quick. Pretty much everything else I thought was good. I mean, this movie had a beginning, middle, and end. However, there were some things that I really didn't care about other than that. You had the guy that plays in Bridgerton. Was it
Yeah.
Carmichael is his name in this movie? Ana de Armas, like I said, she didn't have a lot to do in this movie, but it's still seeing her, still cool seeing, her kick some butt and having a little bit of gun fu was kind of fun. But yeah, I mean that's just kind of my general thoughts. But everything else I thought was fine. The movie ended in a way where I was like, oh, okay. It kind of felt like we needed another 10, 15 minutes, but okay. So I don't know, Wes, what do you think, man? What are kind of what are your standouts to this movie, and do you think the ending? I mean, do you agree with me on the ending? How it felt kind of not abrupt, but kind of like you know what I mean?
No, yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of hard to yeah.
So my thoughts on it, like I said, I really like the action scenes. Most of the action scenes, I mean, you're obviously getting stuff that's like really unrealistic, but it's super cool to watch. The train sequence, whenever, and even before that, when they're fighting like 50 guys and he's chained to a thing, and
Yeah.
Chris Evans sits there and he's like, can anybody shoot the guy who's chained to
Handcuffed
the
to the
bench?
bench. That
Yeah,
was
I
funny.
mean,
That was
that one,
funny.
or he's like, oh man, the one line that I laughed at, that I mean, I was like, oh, this is hilarious, is like he was chained, or
Mhm.
whatever, handcuffed to that bench, and he was like, hey, can somebody just get this Ken doll and put a bullet in his,
Oh, uh,
and I was like, that's
see what
funny,
you did there.
that's
See what you
hilarious.
did there. In case y'all didn't know what Wes is talking about, is Chris Evans' line in the movie where somebody shoot this Ken doll or whatever, shoot him in the face. Ryan Gosling is playing Ken in Margot Robbie led Barbie film. So yeah, let's see what it is. But I did
It's
like
pretty,
that little. I looked at
yeah,
my wife,
yeah.
was like, and even
Yeah,
she
yeah, I
got it.
know, I
She's like,
know.
oh,
I
okay.
did
So
say things. So,
yeah,
but going forward, I mean, I really enjoy what I really did enjoy is the storyline for Fitz, and um how Ryan Gosling character, six, basically,
yeah,
you see it coming, with the little girl and stuff. I really enjoyed that, like, a lot. You feel that, number one, for me, I've been in the hospital a lot, and whenever Declan's got to go to the hospital, it's like you got to go, and it's just for us,
hmm,
like they were saying, it's just another Thursday. For us, it's just another day, because we're so
right.
used to that, and used to like doing those things, and seeing that little girl and him just carrying her in and just setting her down, and then you know he looks over at her, and she's like, gives him the devil horns. I was like,
Yeah.
that's awesome, because that reminds me of how my son is, so like in doing it. So like literally it touched me a little bit, because I was like,
Right.
yeah, like that's
Like I
awesome.
get it.
Like that's
Yeah.
I get it. And then, at the end, whenever it comes to the scene where Chris Evans and him are about to fight, you know, he sits there and she's like pulling him like, no, I want you to go with me. And then he looks at her and says, it's just another Thursday. And she's like, calms down and says, kick his ass, and then runs off. Like, I thought that was pretty cool, man. But whenever it comes to the end and everything, I do think that it ended it kind of abruptly. I think you're right. We did need about another 10, 15 minutes kind of see where it goes. But
Hmm.
um all in all, I mean, I liked it, you know what I mean? But the best part for me was his dynamic with the girl, and giving her
Yeah.
the record to say, hey, play this loud, and him coming in and being like, can I chew gum in here? Like, come on, man. Like, that's pretty good,
There were
dude.
some subtle things that was definitely like, oh, okay, I feel that. But to me, especially when like Billy Bob Thornton's character died. What's his name? Fitzgerald or
Fits.
whatever, Fitz.
Yeah.
When he died, which I love Billy Bob Thornton. Dude, he's one of the best things in Armageddon. I don't care what you say. Armageddon is fantastic. I don't care what y'all say. It's better than Deep Impact. Let's send oil diggers to or diggers to space. So that you bring up a good point. So you have the little girl and you got Fitz. Yeah, I mean that stuff was I'm not gonna say like it got to me or anything. I liked it. Like what I was seeing, I was like, I liked it, but I was also asking myself, why do I care about this? Why do I care about Thornton's character dying? Well, he, was the first person that popped up in the beginning of the movie. He was the one to help get Ryan Gosling's character sick. I don't even think he has a real name, or they even said it in the film, because even in IMDb it just says six. So
Hmm.
with him and six, getting him out of prison and later learning what he did, that bro dynamic there, I really enjoyed. I really liked that kind of back and forth, that chemistry there. I thought that was really neat. But with him dying at the same time, I was like, man, I wanted more of that. I wanted more with him and the girl. Like, I wanted more of, you know, like, I get it. He was the one to save Six's life, essentially. You know, he got him out of prison. I get it. But at the same time, you know, you brought up something that I completely forgot about is when you know, they're in the maze, and like you said, you already brought it up, where you know, she starts crying and it's emotional, you got the music swelling, all that kind of stuff, and he's like, just go, you know, just wait at the end, or blah blah blah. And when she just calms down, she's like, kick his ass. Like, I was like, really? Like, I was really enjoying that moment. And when she said that, I knew she was going to say that. I just knew it. I knew she was, because she gave that kind of teenager stare, you know. She's like, kick his ass. And I'm like, dude, you really ruined the moment for me, you know. And to me, that it just was like, another thing that I found interesting, but I felt needed to be elaborated on, was why didn't he exaggerate pain? Like, why didn't he, you know, when he got tear gassed? Because that's when you first noticed it. When he gets tear gassed by or pepper sprayed by Chris Evans, he just kind of like, you know, he grunts a lot, and is like, okay, why is he doing that? Because up until the end of the film, when he gets shot in the knee, he's just like, oh, and then he makes a joke. She's like, get out of the water. He's like, can I just sit over here and then we'll talk? You know what I mean? And but several times throughout the movie, he gets hurt and he just kind of grunts. He doesn't, you know, have that emotional kind of
Yeah,
response
where
where
he
he's like,
gets stabbed
yeah,
in the stomach
yeah, and he's
at
just
the
like,
hospital, and he's
yeah,
like, "Can we argue about this in the car? I'm gonna
yeah,
bleed out."
I'm gonna bleed out. Like, and here's the only thing that I can think of. Right, we learned very quickly that he was abused as a kid. We
Mhm,
seen the cigarette burns, you know, all that kind of stuff, and you think, man, you know, there are parents that do this, and that's horrible. You showed that his dad, you know, you're like, you can't disrespect me. You know, he dips his head in
mhm.
the water, and it's like, dude, that's, I mean, you and I both have kids. You know, we would never do something like that. That's like brutal, brutal.
Oh,
But you
yeah,
see,
that's
and
not good.
but when I ask myself, I'm like, why is this character? Why does he do that? It's kind of like back when in Gladiator, when Maximus Russell Crowe would, right before a battle, he'd pick up dirt and rub it in and just kind of, you know, immerse in that moment. But they never explained why he did that. I would have liked if we got a little bit more, and they didn't really need to. It was kind of just more for our interpretation. I think, you know, that it made it work. With Ryan Gosling not making an emotional response to getting hurt other than grunting, you know, the only thing I can come up with was that his dad tortured him so much that the more he fought back emotionally, and his emotional responses made his dad do it worse. So maybe there
Mhm.
was something there. But again, I feel like this movie would have had a more an emotional punch had they maybe clarified, was that the reason? Because they showed it way early on where he got pepper sprayed. He's like, you know, kind of, and he just
Mhm.
rubs his eyes. You know, he doesn't, because I've, you know, I've been in the army. I know what it's like to be to gassed and all that kind of stuff. It's not fun. It's not fun. You burn everywhere. And I tell you what, you're not standing there still. I mean, you are if you're in a gas mask, you know, but if it's, you know, when the drill sergeant comes and flips that up and you're, you know, your face is burning, you're not just going to go, "Oh man, my eye kind of itches." No, you're going to be like, "Okay, I'm done." You know,
Yeah,
I
but I
didn't get a
mean,
lot of
like,
that
look at
here.
all the other scenes that are in here where it's just crazy town. But
It is
I
crazy
I mean,
town.
I enjoyed it. Like, that, like, I was just like, "Okay, this dude's done this for so long that
$18 years.
he's a complete
If
beast."
we're
You
going
know what
on
I
that
mean?
timeline, because in the beginning of the movie it said, remember when he
Yeah,
gets recruited, it says 18 years later.
yeah,
And how good did that makeup and whatever they used to de-age
yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton? Oh my God, that looked fan. I looked at that and because I had no idea Billy Bob Thornton was in the movie. I had no idea. I knew Ryan Gosling, Ana de Armas, and Chris Evans were. Had no absolute idea Billy Bob. And when he popped up in the jail cell, I was like, you know, just thinking to myself, I'm like, that looks a lot like Billy Bob Thornton. And then when it because I never thought about it again, right? I was just like, oh, the actor looks just like him, right? And then it cuts to present day and he's a lot older. I was like, fuck me, that is Bill Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
And I got a kick out of that, not gonna lie. But look, I mean, you're right. This film is forgettable, but the action sequences, the character moments, like you said with Chris Evans. Look, I did not love his character. His character to me felt a little goofy. And to me, I feel bad saying this, but I don't think the directors directed him very well in this movie. I honestly think he was the wrong actor for the role. They actually got him, or I don't know how it went down, but he was actually up for the lead role for six. But according to report, and I don't know if this is true, but according to reports, he declined just because he wanted to be the villain. But this is the same people that directed him in Captain America: Civil War, Winter Soldier, Endgame, Infinity War. So I mean,
Maybe he just wanted to be different than
and
being
that's
the super Hulk, the
right.
superhero. You know what I mean?
Now, I about said it again. I about said knocked up again. Knives Out. You know, he was the ultimate kind of
Hmm.
turning point, the plot twist at the end, where he was actually the one pulling the strings. To me, that worked. And Ryan Johnson,
Hmm.
the way he directed that movie, the way he directed those actors and the script, like it worked with Chris Evans. I'm just saying, I would kind of I'd rather see a better actor do that. I'm not saying Chris Evans is a bad actor. I'm just saying I think that was a bad actor for that role. Is all I'm saying. Ryan
I
Gosling, I
don't know.
think
Like whenever like I enjoyed the fight scene between him and Ryan Gosling. Whatever, like I thought it was pretty
the
hilarious
fight
whenever
scene
he's
was
sitting there
fun.
and he
Yeah,
hits him in the back and he's like,
yeah.
"Oh,"
He's just
he's
stinging
like,
because he
"That
got burnt.
stinks."
That
Yeah,
stinks.
dude.
And no,
I
don't get me wrong.
thought it was pretty good.
Like the back and forth with him and Ryan Gosling, like it was fine. Like it's again, it's fine. But I'm just saying, I really feel like Ryan Gosling, fine. You know, it's it's Ryan Gosling. He's Academy level actor. He's awesome. And you have Ana de Armas, small role, but you know she did what she could. When you ask yourself, you know, if this actor was swapped out with another actor, would this still be the same? And most of the time, the answer is yes, because a lot of times it is the script and not the actor. I mean, it depends. I mean, hundreds and movies are released every single year. So you could say this about almost every movie, but I legitimately feel like Chris Evans should not have been in this movie. I felt like every time, like his mannerisms, again, a couple times I laughed. Like I did, I'm not gonna lie. I think the line was so stupid and definitely something out of a Michael Bay movie. And I love Michael Bay, dude. Dude, Bad Boys 1 and 2, Bad Boys 2 is
Yeah,
freaking
bro.
awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Again, going back to Armageddon, loved Armageddon, but it felt like a Michael
they
why
Michael Bay.
sorry, Michael I about to say Michael Mann, I was like, "Why am I thinking of Heat?" Michael Bay film is when he's like, "Somebody give me a Vicodin," and he starts to walk away. She's like, "What's wrong? Why are you walking like that?" "'Cause I got
Yeah,
shot in the
yeah,
ass,
dude.
Suzanne."
Yeah. He's
That was
looking at him, he's like, "I
yeah,
got shot in the ass," man. That shit was great.
just limping.
Oh, I was
I
laughing.
thought that was
Oh,
funny, but it's the situational I think that was a lot of it too, the situational comedy with Chris Evans, I felt like very ooh, you know, and you know, I can hear it now. People are like, "Oh, you just like him as Captain America." It's like, yeah, but
no.
he
I liked him
embodied
in other
he
movies too.
yeah, he embodied that.
Fantastic Four, he was the best one on screen,
It was fine.
period.
It has
Per
literally been like a decade since I've seen those other films, but
I'm just
that's beside
saying,
the point.
like,
But look, Chris Evans, he's amazing. He's a good actor. Is he Is he Academy level like a Ryan Gosling? No. Is he, you know, I mean, I could just think of a lot of other people that could have. I mean, any good actor. That's always my answer. You know, any good actor, any good talent, and you know that's where it starts is good talent. But for me, I think Chris Evans was definitely miscast. I think in this movie, and I'm going to stand by that. Who knows? Maybe watching it again, I'll be like, you know, warm up a little bit more. But that's just my first thought. Is that you know I felt like Ryan Gosling again is fine. Like his mannerisms, the way he played the role, I think worked for me. But with Chris Evans, it felt like he was from a different movie. Like again, and going back to the tonal shift, it was very kind of. And look, it was entertaining. You know that's all I can say. I was entertained for 2 hours. There were moments where I was scratching my head and getting really sick and tired of the establishing shots and things like that.
it's
But
the drone shots, man.
the drone
Hey, but
shots,
listen, I think that, like, for me, it's a thumbs up. I'm not gonna go and watch it over and over again, but,
hmm
like you said, if I need something to watch and I wanna watch some cool action scenes, like, yeah, I would probably watch it again. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go seek it out, but
Right.
I mean, it's a thumbs up for me. You know, we really don't we don't rate these things. We're not ones to rate, but like it's a good movie. There are just some little things that we both have issues with, but I mean, we're gonna find that in probably everything. So,
So
uh,
is that the word you're using? Good? Using good?
yeah,
You think
it's a
okay.
good
I'm
movie.
gonna say serviceable. Like it's not a dumpster fire. It's not trash,
Oh no,
but
yeah, yeah, it's
it's
not.
watchable. Like it's
Mhm.
serviceable. Is someone asked me, "Hey, was Gray Man good?" Eh, no. But I was entertained for 2 hours. I mean, that's what movies are, right? They're made to entertain us,
But see,
whether
like if somebody asked me, they were like, "Hey,
mhm.
was Gray Man good?" I'd be like, "Yeah, it's good." But that's how I would say, "Yeah, it's good."
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I wouldn't say good. That's just my person. I'm just trying to figure out where you and I both were on the spectrum there. But anyway, that's kind of our general thoughts. I mean, like I said, I mean, the Gray Man, it kind of came and went. Had the weekend to watch it. What did you guys think about it? Let us know in the comments. Do you think Ryan Gosling was a good pick for this role? Do you think Chris Evans was miscast? I surely do. Do you think they left open a door for a sequel? Maybe, perhaps. I don't know. Netflix is always talking about finding their next big franchise. Well, maybe if they quit canceling seasons after or series after season 3 or 4, maybe they can. But I don't know. Wes, where can people find you, my friend?
People can find me at West Rathbone 86 on Twitter and everything, guys. Let us know what you think. I thought it was a good movie, but that's why we do this because sometimes me and him, I mean, we're not too far off on this one. But anyway, Gabe, let them know where they can find you, and let's wrap this thing up, man.
All right, man. Like I said, you can find us simply Usual Skeptics on TikTok. You can find me at Voice of Film on Twitter and TikTok. Follow my shenanigans there. You can also support us by clicking the link here, www.streamelements.com/the usual skeptics/tip. It supports Wes and I and the channel. If y'all want to continue to see videos such as these, we want to try and do a lot more coming up in the future. We've got Nope. I know that came out this weekend. Unfortunately, due to our theater, how it's, they're still doing things because of, no staffing. It's hard to get out to the theater every time because we drive a pretty good ways. Anyhow, let us know your thoughts on The Gray Man. Let us know if you liked it. Let us know where you think it falls in your favorite action films. I mean, look, audience are going to love this movie. It's already holding a very, very high critic rating on or audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics not loving it so much. I think 4 out of every 10 critics love it, but I think audience are going to have a good time. My wife surely enjoyed it. She loves America's Ass. She loves Chris Evans. So again, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll see y'all in the next video.